The following program is being brought to you by Reign of Fire Radio, a media outreach arm of Reign of Fire Evangelical Ministries. Our commitment is to sponsor programs that will assist in living a Christian life and win others through teaching the finished work of Jesus Christ. Welcome to Delivered or Deceived with your host, Rand Berkey. Rand is a former cult member who now educates people on the dangers of these types of groups, as well as people who would seek to exploit and terrorize others. Rand has devoted his life to providing assistance to those who have been hurt. No one wants to be led through the wilderness by a guide who has never been there. He has, and his desire is that you will find yourself delivered and not deceived.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rand Berkey, and welcome to Reign of Fire Christian Radio and our program tonight, Delivered from Deception. As in every broadcast, I like to set the stage sharing one of the foundational scriptures for Reign of Fire Evangelical Ministries, as well as its outreach arm, Reign of Fire Christian Radio. And he was handed the book of the prophet Isaiah. And when Jesus had opened the book, he found the place where it was written, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and recovery of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed. Christ is the message, and I'm only one of the bearers of the message." Well, this is an anniversary, not even of sorts, it's an anniversary to me. Number of years ago, more years than I care to remember, I was at a halfway house in Iowa City, Iowa. How did I get there? Well, was it drugs? Was it alcohol? Was it something else? No. It was because I'd been in a cult for the last 6 years, and my parents had rescued me by kidnapping me and having me deprogrammed. They understood the violence of the group, the manipulation of the group, and the danger of the group. I didn't. I saw it as the way to enlightenment, the way to become spiritual, to become enlightened. But there I was, after 6 years, sitting in that halfway house, looking over my life and saying, what was it all about? I have a picture, I mentioned it, of me in the halfway house cooking a turkey, because it was around Thanksgiving that I was there, or over Thanksgiving. There I was, curly hair, baggy, even a size medium was baggy on me, 32 waist that was sliding off of my waist, and kind of dazed and confused because my reality had been blown apart. Did I argue about what I believed in? Sure I did, because I didn't know about believing anything else. I didn't want to try to believe anything else. And through that soul searching, I decided not to go back to the group. However, I had to unlearn and relearn a lot of things that I had been involved in. I'd read the Bible through many times. I had it underlined. I still have the Bible. It's just like falling apart from all the use that I got. I read the Bible through every year. But this one was mangled. It was the King James Version. And the reason why I use the King James, I still use it now, is because of the research tools. Usually are in King James, if not the New International Version. But even though I read the book that many times, read the Bible, underlined it, underscored it, circled it, annotations to it, I was still deceived. What I never want you to forget is it can happen to anyone. Oh, no, not me, you may say. It could never happen to me. Well, have you ever been lied to and believed it? I'm sure you have. Many people have. Here's the thing. When you're in a cult, it lasts for a long time. It could even last forever. It could last forever. And it has nothing to do with intelligence. It has nothing to do with anything except somebody victimizing someone else. Now you could say that, well, if I knew enough of the Bible, then I would never have gotten involved in that. Well, I know people that have known the Bible, have gone to Bible school, knew better, and they got into groups like Scientology, or they got into New Age groups, or they got into something that was such an aberration of what they believed in that you could not even fathom that they ended up there. You could say it's a lack of religious training. Well, maybe so. There are churches that certainly teach the Bible rightly, good teachings of the Bible. However, it's not necessarily the doctrine that wasn't for me initially that got me involved with the group. It was the emotional ties of the woman that got me in, and that I later married when I was in the group. Well, that didn't last any longer than, well, you can read the book because I'm going to be talking about the book. And I don't want to spoil too many things, but I want you to go to Amazon and get Delivered from Deception. And I want to be plugging this book quite a bit because, hey, look, it's my anniversary. You know, when I say that people don't think it can happen to them, there's an attitude there. Here's the problem. If I can objectify a person and say, well, it happened to them because they had a mental problem, or they were stupid, or they had a horrible home life, or yada, 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 then a person can stand back and say, well, I didn't have any of these. Therefore, I couldn't be in a cult, or I couldn't get involved in a cult. But it's more than that. Like I said, it's a lie. There's dangers of telling people what happened. It's a lot more acceptable to be a sex addict, to be a porn addict, be a drug addict, be an alcohol addict. But what happens when your addiction is religion? Good thought, huh? And I'm not talking about Christianity as a whole, but those people that get sucked in to something that they can't get out of and maybe don't even know better. But let's go back to that objectification that, if I can put the problem on the people, then I can say, well, I'm not like that person, I would never get into the group. It doesn't work that way. But the person that gets involved with a group, suffers many things. They suffer judgment from other people. Well, how could you be involved with something by that? Pity. It's just, you're such a sad soul. They're lucky that the cult took you because you're just whatever. Disbelief. How could you get involved in something like that? Are you kidding me? Are you crazy? Piety. I like this one because a lot of people think, oh, I've got the truth, and because I have the truth, nobody could ever, fake me out. I wouldn't follow those Pied Pipers down into the river where all the rats drown. I wouldn't be that happen to me. Well, in different times in people's lives, they can be more vulnerable than other times. Or maybe they're not. Maybe it's a romantic thing that maybe a guy's flirting with the girl, or a girl's flirting with the guy, and they start that emotional attachment, and from the emotional attachment comes to maybe the doctrinal attachment, the belief that this is an awesome place to be and you shouldn't be anywhere else, because that emotional attachment may get broken, may break off. The individual, the guy or the girl, takes off for some reason, but here's the person that got in. They're stuck. They're stuck in that position of, okay, I'm involved with this, I have the truth, who cares, even if that person that got him in left the group. Well, it's so bad, so sad for them, because what are they missing out on? I have the truth. It's a shame that they fell away. Well, what does God want you to know? That He has a plan for you. In Psalms 139 and verse 16, it says, I've a plan for you laid out, written before the world began, fenced in and hidden, something that you knew not of. You know, when we pray the Lord's Prayer, we pray that God's will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So what happens when we become so blinded that we can't see the forest for the trees? You know, I still don't know the answer to that. You know, there's a lot of maybe assumptions that we can make, but you know what assumptions are like. So I've got my book here, Delivered from Deception, and I'm going to read parts of it to you, because I think that you are going to find, no matter of fact, I know that you're going to find it not only interesting, but something that you want to pick up, because not only it's my life, but it's filled with information that you can use to look at your own life, as well as helping others. And this is the preface of the book. You know, these pages record some chapters of my life. I make no apologies for their content, as they are my experiences. I'm asked at times the question, if you could do it all over again, would you? I'd have to say I don't know. Even though through my experiences I've been able to help many people, then and now, I can only wonder what my life would have been like if I had not made that fateful decision to listen to the woman in a bar in West Virginia. You know, I've made many friends at home and internationally, and for that I'm truly thankful. Though this manuscript is a record of an experience that I had many years ago, hopefully time has given me a perspective that is clearer than the one who is in the thick of the battle. Finally, I want to say that I have changed some of the names of my story to protect the innocent, and in some circumstances, to protect me from the guilty. You know, no matter who you're talking about, whether it is an Islamic fundamentalist jihadist group that wants to take you out, wants to run over you with garbage trucks, and wants to, you know, blow you up because they feel that they have a right to. We have to look at those things. We have to look at all those things and say, okay, how did that person get to that point in their head that they're willing to blow people up for their cause? You know, in some realms, just like the jihadist terrorists, they believe that even if they sacrifice everybody, those people that believe, that are believers, are going to go to heaven anyway. So why not sacrifice them? You know, when you're talking about the World Trade Center and how that happened and who it was that did it, now, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot tell me within those 3,000 people that were murdered during that day, the people on the flight that crashed into the ground in Pennsylvania or that went through the Pentagon. Nobody can tell me that there wasn't some Muslims either on the plane or in the building that got killed. I say that to say this, is that we're talking, the Western mind does not understand. They have no concept of this religion. They have no understanding of that mindset. Just as the Western